If you or someone you love is thinking of joining the Life Northwestern PA program or PACE in other areas, you're going to want to stick around for my story. My father, Lewis, was a patient there. I'm an only child. He was a Navy vet. Now he's a grandpa. There's me and him most recent. And then this. Stick around. Continuing on about Life Northwest PA, specifically the Erie location. My father was a patient there for a few years now. November 30th was his last day, so I'm more comfortable speaking out, as I'm sure it shouldn't affect his care now. I'm going to speak a lot about him, and it will sound past tense wise, but he is still with us. He's just not the same person, and it's just going to sound different. Some information about the LIFE program I'm taking directly from the website. The Life Northwest PA program is funded by Medicare, Medicaid, but you can privately pay. What sold us on the program was the fact that everything was all in one place. Sadly, that is what the problem became. They also mention an appointed representative. They were horrible with communication with us. Disenrollment sounds easy enough. They are voluntary. You can disenroll whenever you'd like, but they are your complete medical team, basically your insurance. My dad had multiple specialists, prescriptions, all of that, and leaving the LIFE program meant we would have to find all those doctors again, prescriptions and whatnot. It was very overwhelming. Part 3 of our experience with Life Northwest PA, the Erie location. During some of my research, I found this file. Apparently they had an audit, which they failed and were fined like $47,000. Based on what they found, it sounds like my father, his whole story is in that paperwork, because here's some examples of doctor's notes, in his chart, what they've been told in the past just a few times. But yeah, I thought I'd put this in there. I can't even remember the link where I found this. It is that hard to find, but I never heard of it. Don't you think other patients' families might be interested to know that? I was up so late, just desperately trying to find anything about the LIFE program after everything's been going on with my father. And I found this audit and I just couldn't believe it. I was in shock. Here are some reviews I found online. I cut people's names out. These are all their own opinions. If you search reviews, I'm sure you'll see these ones too. If you go to Facebook, you'll see postings about people's experiences. Some good, a lot bad. It's very similar to mine. I just feel like this all needs to be out in the open. Not trying to be malicious. Not even saying the program needs to close. It needs fixed. I'm assuming there's going to be another audit if there hasn't been already. I would really love to see the results. Part 4 of our story with the Life NWPA program. Please go back and watch previous videos and look out for more. But now we're going to start getting into the major problems with the LIFE program. Granted, we had problems the whole time. Like, communication was non-existent. I never got test results. I never got calls for anything. Anytime I'd call, I rarely got called back. So yeah, I already was having issues. And then last summer, it all just blew up. June 2024, I received a phone call that the state police had found my father on the side of the road. He was alive, but very confused. Never happened before. We knew he'd started progressing with dementia. It was really minor at first. Didn't think anything of it, just a lot of repeating. And then this happened. Got him to the hospital, low on potassium. Basically, every test came back okay. He stayed the night because nobody could stay with him, and they thought he had to go home. There's a ton more. I'm going to jump around to the next issue. If you have questions, let me know. So then, fast forward, way forward, to this past summer. My father had been sick and complaining of chest pain. At the center, they told him he was anxious, probably just a lunch backing up on him. It was sausage, whatever. But all day he was complaining all day, and they didn't think he needed to go to the hospital. He went home that night. They came over because I guess he was still severe. His neighbors were concerned. They called 911, and the LIFE program said nope. Gave him more Tums, I think a nitroglycerin, and just left. So 1:30 in the morning, my father calls me, and I can't understand him at all. I didn't know where he was. I asked him what was going on. He said he thought he was either having a stroke or a heart attack. And I said, I'll call 911. And then I found out he's actually already at the hospital, which, if you look at the notes, it says he told them that I told him to call 911. He called me from the hospital. So, yeah, the dementia had progressed all year. And then this, it was horrific. I had no clue anything was going on at the center that day. No one called me. When I questioned about that, they said it was they were concerned about him. They were too busy taking care of that situation. Okay, so what about when he left? Or you guys said he was stable and gave him Tums. Why wouldn't you call then? So I don't know. Somehow he made his way to call 911 himself, and they took him to the hospital at like 1:30 in the morning. Come to find out, it was a heart attack. His blood work, the markers for heart attack, it was 45,000. Like, that is through the roof. And if they would have taken him seriously and taken him to the ER, especially based on his past, I mean, his heart's more stent than anything. They would have known he had a heart attack. So he could have been having that all day. So I understand what they were saying, because they did an EKG or ECG and it came back normal at the center. But these type of situations, a blood test would have been the easiest way to find out. So I'm going to move on from here. This video is very long, and watch the previous videos. Look out for the next one. Like, share. Remember, these are all my stories, my opinions, what I've experienced. And here is part 5 of our experience with the Life NWPA program, the Erie location. Please go back, check other videos, and watch out for the rest of the story. Yet again, I am taking the grievance policy right off of their website. It's a very basic kind of explanation. None of this really happened. I did file a grievance. They very informally provided some answers, did not cover nearly anything of what the real issues were. I requested specifically for everything to be in writing, because when I would call, every person I talked to would have a totally different recollection of the situation, or no recollection at all. They couldn't find records. I would ask about test results that he supposedly had, or who did what, and I was told all these procedures, but that's fine. How did you implement them? I don't see any of that implemented. It's fine that you say that you're supposed to do this, but you're not. It was about this time that I decided to reach out for more help. I reached out about elder neglect and abuse. My claims are substantiated, but the solution didn't happen. They decided to close the case because my father was going to be evaluated, and that would solve the problem. Well, the Life program canceled that appointment. It never happened. Once I requested all communication in writing, communication pretty much stopped. They would ask me to come in to talk. I wanted an email. I wanted a paper trail. I'm not coming in to talk to you and have no record of it. They won't let me record a conversation. I need proof, because everything I hear is contradicted by somebody else. So that's when we really tried to get to work to get him disenrolled, because this was just ridiculous. There's tons to read. I get it. So much happened, and we had so much going on in our family. This doesn't even cover it. It was really difficult. Part 6 of our experience with Life NWPA, the Erie location. Check back for my previous videos, and I have one more. So the end of October, I ended up having to have surgery. I was going to be out of commission for quite some time, and I had repeatedly let the Life program know that. We worked out that my father would be disenrolled as of November 30th, and that was the plan. Early November comes around, and I get a phone call early in the morning. My father fell. He's okay, but he did fall, and he's having a really hard time moving his leg. I said, shouldn't he have x-rays? And they told me they did not feel it was a stat x-ray situation. And when he went back to the nursing home later in the afternoon, they would try to get them to do an x-ray for them. They would write an order for that. So he was at the center all day. Later that evening, once back at the nursing home, they do x-rays. He has a broken hip. He sat on a broken hip all day. When he got to the ER, They actually gave him fentanyl because they felt he was in that much pain. And I guarantee they did not give him anything like that at the Life program. The Life program is minutes away from the hospital where he ended up admitted, but he had to go to the nursing home first and then back to the hospital. The nursing home is not as close, so he had to not only sit in a wheelchair all day, he had to go in a transport multiple times when he could have just driven a few minutes down the road and gotten x-rays at the hospital. When I think of this, it literally makes me sick. We were so close to getting out of this situation, to getting away from this program, and then he falls. Not only does he fall, we find out he is positive for influenza A, and he is not welcome back at the center. I mean, for good reason. He's going to be quarantined. So that's great. So now my father had to prep for surgery. Every time they tried, his surgery time got pushed because emergencies come and go. I mean, obviously. So even though it was a risky surgery, we were going to do it. Then I get a call. My father's vitals tanked. It was crazy. Nothing happened. They ended up having to put him in the ICU. I had to make sure the DNRs were set. It was a really scary situation. I actually was having my own surgery issues and had to have an appointment that same day. Thankfully, the hospitals are connected, and after my appointment, I was able to head to the ICU. Somehow, this man went from critically ill to moderately stable in like 7 hours. He had surgery, went great, no complications, but woke up a completely different person. I had seen my father through multiple surgeries, strokes, all that, and he's never woken up like that. They said it could have been the dementia progressing, it could have been the anesthesia. As of yet, there hasn't been much change. He's very paranoid, stressed, scared, confused. Keep in mind, my father was enrolled with the Life program through November 30th. This was a program he went to every single day. They picked him up 5 days a week. While I didn't enjoy it, it was a routine for him. The nursing home said he was very confused why he wasn't going back. I never want any family to deal with this. This was horrible. We thought that they would be the program for us. I'm never someone that is too proud to ask for help. I know my limitations. I felt horrible. I knew I couldn't help my father the way he needed. I thought this was the answer. Transportation, med management, doctors. I feel like I failed him. Part 7 of our experience with the Life NWPA program. This one's about my father, so you can get to know who this has all been about. And here's my father, Louis DiMartino. I chose this Navy photo to use in most of the videos because the military, his Navy career, that was probably the biggest part of his identity. Born and raised Erie PA, moved around here or there. Strong Vincent High School graduate, go Colonels. He is the oldest of 4 siblings. He lived at home but moved out fairly early. He moved out right and went into the Navy. He really looked up to my grandfather. That's, I think, why he went into the Navy. My grandfather was in the Navy, and after that, when my dad was done, he decided he wanted to run businesses like my grandpa did, restaurants, bars. My father worked a lot as I was growing up. My parents separated when I was 5. I lived with my mom, but then I moved in with my dad. Say we butt heads. It's definitely an understatement for sure. He was a very loud and proud Italian man. He always had a story to tell. Sometimes a little bit of an exaggeration here or there. Let's be honest. Swore like the sailor he was. Everybody knew him. It was always, no matter where we went, somebody knew Dad. In November of 1987 or 88, I believe it was actually on his birthday, he saved a woman from a burning car. Saw a burning car on the side of the road, went into the car, got the woman out, and dragged her to safety. And he didn't tell anybody. I saw him on his birthday. My mom and I had heard about it on the news. And then there was this ceremony. He got the key to the city. If anybody in the Erie area knows about this or has a news article, I lost the news article from many, many years ago. Please share it. I would love to see it and show my son and my husband. This is the dad I remember. I'm going to be honest. If he knew what was going on right now, like really knew, he would so tell us to sue. No amount of money will fix what's happened. I mean, nothing will. mean, he knew, but after all this, he just completely forgot. Earlier this year, I made a birthday video for my husband, and my dad made one to be included.
Happy birthday. You catching up to me, aren't you? How's it feel to be old and gray? It's always a pleasure.
And just a few months later,
I love you. Have a nice day.
Oh, have a nice day.
these two are troubled together. I wish my dad would possibly get back to this a little bit. I just really wanted my son to have a few more good memories with his Papa Lou. Trying not to cry. This last picture really gets me. It's just he's not going to be the same, and I feel guilty. I feel like it's my fault. As things progressed, I even had some employees from the Life program reach out in private and express their concern. Please let's hold this company accountable. Nobody deserves this.